Episode 506. In the blink of an eye, Windcomb Smoke Embrace was right on top of this player. Unlike the previous player, this one wasn't so useless. He dove into the sewer early to break line of sight. But in front of a pro player, this amateur's little tricks were laughable and utterly useless. Su Mucheng caught up to the player right on schedule. Her artillery fire rained down. The target tried to put up a fight, and in the end, he managed to make her spend an extra 10 seconds. Out of the two teams of 10, Su Mucheng had ultimately managed to take down 2 players. Even though no characters remained in her line of sight, Su Mucheng resolutely picked a direction and gave chase. In the end, Su Mucheng managed to kill 3 of them. With 10 people scattering like that, 3 kills was the absolute limit, and that third one came down to a bit of luck. Su Mucheng had noted this fleeing player's position beforehand, but whether they'd change direction mid-escape was anyone's guess. After all, the player had been out of her sight for a while now.
Hey, how's it going on your end?
At that moment, Yi Shu sent a message in the channel asking,
If only all pro matches were played like this.
Su Mucheng remarked.
What's the plan?
They all ran off as soon as I got up here.
How many have we taken down?
2 so far. Not sure if we can catch the third one.
That depends on luck.
How about you guys?
Nothing on my end for now.
Yeshu sent a sighing emoji.
Nothing on my end yet either.
The Monday morning quarterback chimed in.
No.
Tang Ru said.
No.
The same goes for every city. The basic layout of every map is the same. With so many glory players, characters can't pass through or overlap each other. That's why places like dungeon entrances, where people often gather to form parties, are always packed. A single entrance would never be enough for the traffic. So in any leveling area, there are multiple entrances and exits for dungeons. In the Thousand Wave Lake leveling area, each dungeon entrance was a tiny water island, and there were dozens of these little islands scattered across the entire lake. For Su Mucheng to run into 2 teams this time was already a stroke of incredible luck. By comparison, not running into anyone was the most likely outcome.
The time should be about right.
Qian Cheng checked the time, then glanced at the list Ye Shu had made, estimating how long it would take for the 6 guilds to clear the dungeon 3 times. He relayed this in the chat.
That's the theoretical estimate. In practice, we can be a bit more flexible and wait a few extra minutes.
Copy that.
I've also noted down where a few others went. Want to try and intercept them?
Su Mucheng asked.
I'll go.
Yi Shu replied. Anyone else would be a gamble in the water. Only Yi Shu has a real shot. For anyone else, diving in would make the outcome a toss-up.
Hey, I've got one.
Tang Ru suddenly dropped a line, followed by an excited emoji. That was all the other 3 could know. Yi Shu immediately turned his head, his eyes instantly taking in the accurate first-hand intel from Tang Ru's screen. It was a guild, Void's dungeon team. Influenced by their pro team's style, a huge number of players in Void chose to play as Ghostblades, undoubtedly all fans of their captain, Li Xuan. While a guild's class composition needs to be practical, you can still see traces of this fan-driven nature in it. After all, these die-hard supporters are the very foundation of a club's guild. So it's no coincidence that Void has more Ghostblades, Bluebrook Pavilion has more Blade Masters, Dynasty has more Battle Mages, and Tyrannical Ambition has more Strikers. In this Void dungeon team, there were 2 Ghostblades, naturally emulating the Void team's classic dual Ghostblade combo. Of course, players can imitate all they want, but if they could actually reach the level of Li Xuan and Wu Yuche's Ghostblade duo, they wouldn't still be grinding in this dungeon. Tang Ru was itching for a fight, so she didn't bother hiding, standing right outside the dungeon entrance. The 5 players emerged, and the 2 sides came face to face. The 5 were naturally shocked, but Tang Ru didn't have the same impact as Su Mucheng. The 5 who saw Su Mucheng, they just turned tail and ran. The 5 who saw Tang Ru could afford to take a second look. So what was Ye Chu's situation now? But they found that aside from Soft Mist, there were no other characters in sight.
What kind of scheme is this?
The five of them couldn't help but think.
Something's off.
Someone in the team was sending messages. A few others voiced their agreement.
I have something to say.
Someone cut in. Then, another message followed.
They have Yi Qiu and Su Mucheng. Why would they need to resort to tricks to deal with us?
The listeners were taken aback. The two who had suggested something was off immediately flushed red. Who do they think they are? To think they'd suspect the strongest duo in Glory would need to resort to tricks to deal with them, that's just sheer arrogance.
Is it just her then?
It was still a bit suspicious that she was alone.
At least Ye Chu and Su Mucheng definitely aren't here. Otherwise, they'd have started fighting already.
The other person said.
So there's still something fishy about it.
Before the five of them could reach a conclusion, Soft Mist's spear trembled in her hand, and she was already charging forward to attack.
Don't go in the water, not for anything. Keep her pinned on the road. Let's see what trick she's trying to pull.
Knowing Yi Chu and Su Mucheng weren't there, the five players finally felt they had a fighting chance. They immediately spread out, each guarding a direction, ready to meet Soft Mist's charge while keeping an eye on their surroundings. The island in the lake was truly tiny. If you stood on the rock at the mouth of this cave, you could pretty much see the whole thing. There really wasn't anywhere to hide. At best, you could duck behind the mouth of the cave. So the five of them were on high alert for just that, frequently glancing up to check the sky, watching for anyone who might have scaled the cavern wall behind them and dropped down in an ambush. None of their fears came to pass. The only real threat was the battle spear, thrusting straight into their midst. Soft Mist charged forward like a madwoman, her target the cleric among the five opponents. Tang Ru was no longer the clueless rookie she once was. After playing for this long and learning from Yi Chu, she had developed at least this basic level of judgment. When fighting multiple opponents alone, if you don't take out their cleric quickly, they'll gain healing. Even if they can't kill Tang Ru, they can slowly grind you down. To turn the tide, you have to take out the cleric first.